Alright, so as a lot of you Mitsubishi owners have experienced in the past, this knob will break off. When you try to turn it from hot to cold, it'll get stuck in the middle, and the post in the middle is, it's pretty brittle. So, like this one, you can see the white is that post. It did also break my knob. So I ordered some replacement parts for it, and they came in. All right, just like that. Parts are here. Let's see. I ordered two of these ones. The replacement knob. And it's going to be an actual genuine Mitsubishi part, as you can see right there. And the part that broke on my car wasn't the actual knob itself. It was the part that it connects into. So fortunately, they do make replacements. I had to do a lot of research to figure that out. So that's the knob. This is the part that broke off in the car, which I will show. And this one is the reason why they actually break. It's a common problem in a lot of these. This is also a genuine Mitsubishi part. So, like I'll end up showing how to put these in, but essentially what happens is the ones that came in the car would get stuck. So when you're switching it from hot to cold, it would stick in the middle. And I was able to get away with it for a long time of doing that, but finally 20-year-old brittle plastic finally broke. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'll do both of these in the same video, but this will be second. So I'll fix this broken part first, and now I'm going to attempt to fix it. So these knobs just pull off. Nothing special about them. There's two screws, one right here and one right here. They're both Phillips. So you're going to remove those. So both of those are off. And from what I understand, and I could be wrong, this center part should just pop off. Be careful, because this can break. Alright, I need both hands for this. I'll try to think. All right, so the clips hold it in, but all you have to do to get them out is you just kind of wiggle it. You wiggle it and you get one side out and one on the other. What I am doing here is I'm removing the radio. So it has 4 screws. I already took this one out. 4 Phillips screws on each side, 2 on each side. So I'm gonna move this because I have to unhook some of the cables for the AC doors and the plug, and I can't quite get the room or the clearance I need for that. So I'm gonna pull the radio out of the way so I have access to that. On further investigation, you're not gonna disconnect it up here, although I unhooked it there. It's hooked into that plastic. So what I learned was these are the wheels we're gonna be replacing later up here, but it's connected in here, like the cable's connected in here on this wheel. And you're gonna unhook it from here, and with this clip you're just gonna push to pull this plastic piece out, and then the other one is up there, same thing. I'm not gonna be able to film me doing this, but the general gist of it is you push this away on both sides and this part will pop out, and then you squeeze right here and then the circle will come out. Just squeeze the plastic, those will come out, push these away, and that will come out. All right, so I've cut back and hooked them both down there. I didn't necessarily have, you can see this is kind of flapping. I didn't really have to do anything, didn't have to remove that. Thought I did. Same thing here with this clip. Everything should come out. Be careful. Oh, there is another plug down here. There we go. So this one here, push down on that clip, and it'll come out. And then just be careful when you're feeding these things through. And she's out. All right, so I got to take this thing apart. What I'm going to focus on, it's got some Phillips head screws. So there's 4 that I see currently. You have to forgive me, I've never done this before and haven't watched any tutorials, so I'm kind of learning as I'm going as well. Or smaller Phillips head, still Phillips, just smaller. Okay, all 4 screws are out. Just remove this little plastic piece. So you do have to remove also these 2 screws. So these 2 little guys here. And then on this side, to get this part out that you just unscrewed, there's two little clips here that kind of hold it in place, and it's going to come back and out. It's a little difficult. Let's see if you can see what I'm talking about here. So on here, there's a clip on both sides that just kind of locks it into place. Careful wiggling this thing out, set it aside. Now the front mechanism should come off relatively easily. Be very careful with this. All right, we can see my broken part now, but it's still not quite there yet. I still have to release it from in here. Okay, now that we got the face off, it's just one last little step. Pay attention to the orientation that this goes in. You can kind of adjust it before you go in. So I just picked all the way buried at this end. And then on the back side where we took that bracket off, this little metal bracket that covered it, you're just gonna take your screwdriver, let's see if we can get it in here where you can see, in this gear, and you're just at the back of the gear, you're just gonna pop down. So that was a little more difficult than I thought it would be. So that's the broken post is now finally out. Take that piece off. You're still going to use it. Broken part versus the new one. You can see them. You put this back on. Push it back into place. Remember where your orientation was. You click. So now everything just has to go back together. Okay, that's all done. The bottom is done. Broken them out of here. So clear back in. That's how it came apart. Clear goes in. The clear piece goes in before this metal piece because it kind of helps hold it in place. The gears. For the gears, those are my new ones. This is the driver's side, obviously. I have this loose. I don't think it's necessary though. The mechanism's right here. So you have a Phillips head screw right there, and another one right there. They're both off. And you can see this old mech. It's both. The new one doesn't, I don't think they click together quite the same. Just part of why it was broken before. There is a little tab here on this, and that's how you're gonna line up your new stuff. So it'll be here, and here is where your screws are. So let me get this new stuff kind of ready to go, and I'll show as much as I can. It's really hard to film under here. What I was pointing out before with that notch, there's a little notch right here in this, and so that little nugget needs to be in there when you're setting it in, and then everything will line up just right. Back one, I'm gonna throw a screw in real quick just to hold it while I get the other one set. And if I would have done this before, I never would have broke that knob. I knew that this was a problem on the EVO, and there's actually another problem I need to address before it happens on the EVO too. Okay, that's on, and get the other one lined up and figured out. I'll explain it as well. Okay, with this one, you have this little notch here, and there's a little catch there, so you want to get it into that first, and then it'll turn up into place and find its spot, just like that. And throw the screw in. Gonna run those wires down to the part that I just replaced. Those plugs should go in pretty easily. Let's see. Black one goes on the bottom, and the white one goes on the top. Let's see, can I show it? That one's in. Push the top one up. Back in. This in its hole. Okay. Alright, so what I'm going to do on mine, I'm going to push the tab in first, then I'll push it into the clip. Okay, top one, I got it in. It was much easier with both hands. So it's just that little tab there, and you push it into there. Same thing here, all new gears. Alright, finishing touches. All I did was plug in the antenna and the plug for the battery. Cover goes back on. Came off from the top. So try to remember to go back kind of the same way. Don't force anything. And just those last two screws right here. All right, so it's all back together. Let me verify everything works. And the wipers off. Okay, let's see. Well, it's still a little resistance, but it does go through its whole motion, unlike before. Turn it on. See, buttons. The buttons have always been kind of fickle. Okay. Awesome. It hasn't worked like this since it was new. So hey, thanks for being here with me today while I fixed my AC, the HVAC system on the EVO. What I do understand is this is a relatively common problem on a lot of these Mitsubishis. The one thing that I did do, I was doing a lot of research because I thought I had to replace that whole system in the middle. And that's when I did come across that I can just replace that post. So that's not as big of a deal, but if you do have a Mitsubishi and it is sticking, replace those gears and you won't have that same risk. So thank you for watching my video. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. I appreciate every one of you. And if there's anything you want to see in the future, please let me know.